Hey, yo, what it do? Welcome back to another episode of Elevation Talks. I'm Nate Liggins, man. Listen, today is going to be pretty good because we're talking about the dating pool. Yeah, look, I know everybody going to have something to say. I know everybody got their own experiences with it. And so I really just got to talk about my experience with the dating pool lately. Just to give y'all some background, right? Back in 2020, it was either 2020 or 2021. I had went through a divorce. I was married 6 months to my ex-wife. We were in a relationship for 6 years. Then we decided to get married and we immediately called it quits after 6 months, right? I was very just kind of sad. Like, dang, some people, when they go through their divorce, they be like, oh, we're going to do a divorce party and da-da-da-da-da. That wasn't my situation, okay? Like, I was deep in my feelings. And so what it kind of forced me to do was kind of go through this self-love journey and this healing journey that I didn't know I needed. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like going through this journey, I started realizing like, dang, my self-love is pretty low. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of like, you know how when you sit back and you reflect and you just kind of like maybe what went wrong in a relationship, maybe even something that you did, you know what I'm saying? Like you just kind of go back and have those thoughts and those moments, right? So for me, you know what I'm saying? It was God's way of like sitting me down. And, they tell you when you go through your divorce, you're going to go through these different phases, right? So I went through the whole phase, which was like, oh, I'm trying to spin the block on some people that I had dated before. And it was like, I'm so grateful that those people did not answer the phone. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? And then you start just trying to like date and just do all of these things. And it's just like, it all kind of comes back down to, hey, yo, you know what? Maybe right now is not the best time to be dating. Let me just enjoy my singleness, right? And just real quick, anytime I feel like we hear enjoy my singleness, we thinking that means just date the world. You know what I'm saying? We think that means date everything and everybody. And that's not true. I think when it comes to being, when we talk about like enjoying your singleness, actually take time to figure out who you are, what you like. You know what I'm saying? What do you want from your partner? What do you want in your relationships? Like, figure that out. That's the time for you to figure it out. That's the time for you to really just spend time with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that way, when you do, kind of find that partner or whatever the case might be, you're not still trying to do work that you should have been doing when you was single. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that when they get into relationships, they be still trying to work on stuff that they should have did when they was single. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, like as a person, you're always going to be working on yourself. You're always going to be evolving, you know what I'm saying, doing all of these things. But I do believe that there are some things that you are just supposed to work on during your single season. And so that's what I did, man. Real quick, hold on. We got to end show sponsorship read because I got to have a drink while I'm having this conversation, y'all. I'm sorry. I got to. Okay. Cayman Jack, this the margarita joint. Listen, they got a variety of different flavors. We want to say shout out to Cayman Jack for sponsoring this episode. As always, please drink responsibly. But going back to it, so as I was on my singleness, you know what I'm saying, enjoying that time, y'all know what I did, man. Hold on, I seen somebody. Hold up, let me run it back real quick. We got San Diego in the building. What's going on? What's going on, Gigi? What's up? We appreciate the energy. And we appreciate all of y'all tuning in. So when I was going through my singleness, single season rather, I had sat and wrote out a list of what I wanted in my next relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I know, a lot of us try to like steer away from lists. Jersey in the building. What's up, man? What's going on, Pam? So when it comes to creating lists for like, you know what I'm saying, your next relationship, your partner, whatever, I think it's important to make sure that you kind of steer clear of like the external and more so focus on the internal. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because, now don't get me wrong, you have your preferences. You know what I'm saying? You like what you like. But I'm just saying like, when you creating this list, right, it's stuff that's internal that you can't, it's like, when we talk about like the core values of a person, that's basically like who they are. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times that's stuff that you can't, and not even you can't. That's stuff that's usually not going to change. You know what I'm saying? But when you focus on like the exterior of a person, like, oh, losing weight, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of whatever that thing is, like that's stuff that could be changed. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get braces, boom. You know what I'm saying? We could do that. If you want to lose weight, boom. You know what I'm saying? We could do that. Like when you making this list, don't focus so much on the external, but more so focus on the internal. Because that's the stuff that you can't change about a person. You know what I'm saying? So here go my notebook, right? I'm going to just tell y'all right now. For those of y'all that don't know me, big firm believer in God, super spiritual, not religious. There's a difference. But I had set and I had wrote out my list, y'all. This is kind of my this is one of my prayer journals. And this is where I wrote some of my prayers, you know, just some of the stuff that I was believing God for. And one of those like things that I wrote down was what I wanted in my next marriage and relationship. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read off the things on this list because y'all need to go and make y'all list. But just know nothing is too big or too small to put on your list. That's all I'm going to say. And what I like to do when I write my list or my prayers, I like to journal or date it. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can always kind of refer back to it. And you know what I'm saying? Just watch God do his big one. Jules, what it do? I appreciate all the gifts. That's what's up. I appreciate the energy. Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, like this is literally like my list is front and back, and it don't have nothing to do with looks. You know what I'm saying? It don't have nothing to do with like I said, the external stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Did you get what you want on your list? Hey, I ain't got there yet. You just in time because I have not gotten to. Somebody just asked the question, did you get what you wanted on your list? I have not gotten to that part yet because that's where it gets interesting. So just to going back to this, I had wrote this back in 2021, right? So and I it's like I'll write it and I'll close it and I'll, you know what I'm saying, just kind of go on about my day or whatever. And so literally, after my divorce, after my healing journey, and speaking of healing journey, I don't know how many of y'all are on your current healing journey, but just know that it's a journey. It's a process. It's something that's going to be ongoing. You know, as you continue to move on with your journey, you're going to find some things that trigger you. You know what I'm saying? Some things that you thought you was kind of over, but you're not. Like, just understand that it's a journey. And so I think the more upfront you are about where you are in your journey, the better it'll be for you and, you know what I'm saying, whoever you decide to date or whatever, right? So one of the things that I did while I was on my journey was I was reading. And one of the books that helped me during my time of like singleness was Relationship Goals by Michael Todd. This is what the book looked like. I'm going to tell y'all, and this is coming from a person that's not a reader, okay? I'm not the type of person, like, I'm starting to read more, you know what I'm saying? But I am not like just an avid reader, you know what I'm saying? Like when this book came out, and this book came out a few years ago, but that's when I got it. But this is what really helped me during my single season of like just trying to understand relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know about y'all, but I know for me, like growing up and just kind of seeing the different relationships that I saw and what we thought love was or what it's supposed to look like, whatever. You start realizing when you start getting in your own relationships that you got to unlearn a lot of that stuff because that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And what might work for somebody else in their relationship or their marriage ain't going to be the same for you and yours. You know what I'm saying? So, but this book right here, man, I'm telling y'all, this joint right here is a game changer. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and get the workbook that come with it, okay? I'm telling y'all, I'm for real. Listen. I don't have a sponsorship by Todd. Like, he a good dude. Like, he be speaking. Like, if y'all know, y'all know. This joint right here, get the workbook, get the book. Okay, man, it changed my whole perspective on relationships. You know what I'm saying? Look, Sunkit said yes. Look, Sunkit said, I love that book. Y'all, for real, I'm telling y'all, that joint is a game changer. You hear me? Like, the way I handle relationships now are so different, but that's because I literally took the time out to enjoy my singleness You know what I'm saying? But also I took the time out to read something that was super dope, super impactful. I mean, it talks about, being hot, which is humble, open, and transparent, dating like with purpose and just, I mean, like, I don't want to get too much into it, but y'all, I'm just telling y'all for real, man. Like, please read this joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But so after my single season and stuff like that, I ended up stumbling across a girl super dope, and me and her, we actually had a relationship many, many years ago, and we decided to like try again, right? And so this was perfect for me because like I said, I had just kind of I'm actually jumping. I had wrote down another entry in my prayer journal. I said, Lord, I'm ready for, a relationship XYZ, right? Hold on, I done got my dang on shirt caught up in my glasses. Yeah, this is some of the struggles that you got to go through with your glasses, y'all. So I had wrote another journal entry, right? Like, Lord, all right, I feel like I didn't, spent some time alone. Like, I'm ready to kind of get back out here and see what's up. And I kid you not, like, not even a month later, I found myself in a relationship. And so the relationship was super dope. I was enjoying it. It was perfect for the season that I was like entering into because it helped elevate me. And I just want to say, like, a lot of times we be in a rush to just date because we don't want to be lonely or we're tired of being lonely. And you know what I'm saying? Like we just ready to start spending time with somebody. And it's just like, if that's your goal, you're going to find yourself unhappy real quick because it's like, there's more to it than just like, oh, I just want to have somebody to talk to. No, you don't want to just have anybody to talk to. You want to actually talk to somebody that's interested in you. You know what I'm saying? And you will know when somebody is interested in you because it won't be pulling teeth. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. I was watching this video the other day, and it was just talking about how a lot of us get into relationships and stuff just off the simple fact that we like something or somebody. And so he gave the example, like, I like cheeseburgers, but that don't mean I'm gonna be at Mickey D's every day. And so it's just kind of to go back to say, you don't always get everything that you like, because just because you like it, that don't mean that you need it or it's a good fit for you. You know what I'm saying? But like be having us in whole situationships, relationships. Like some people that had kids with people just because they've liked them. You know what I'm saying? Only to find out, I know for a fact this ain't even it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you won't know. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with marriage. Like for me, I really, really, really liked my ex-wife. But just because I liked her, that doesn't mean that she was a good fit. You know what I'm saying? For me, in terms of like, relationship or marriage. You know what I mean? So just be careful with that whole idea of like, oh, I'm about to holler at somebody because I like them. Like, you have to go beyond the like. What is that person actually like? Is that person a good fit for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, are y'all compatible? Like, it's deeper than just, oh, okay, I think I like you. I want to give you an opportunity. And for me, that's what I fell into with this relationship. Like, so basically for me, when I got into my other relationship, well, my new relationship, it was like me and this girl had dated before and I liked her. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just something about her that I just absolutely liked. And so, we started dating, we started, you know what I'm saying, just spending more time together, whatever. And then shortly after us kind of rekindling our connection, we had got engaged. And so even during that process, it was fine. It was cool. But it was like as time went on, I started noticing like, is this a good fit for me? Because let me just tell y'all, like, I don't know how many of y'all have been like divorced or y'all are married or, just kind of whatever y'all status is. But like, I feel like once you have gone through a divorce, for a fact, or even like a, really bad breakup, for a fact that that's something that you do not want to go through again. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, when it comes to dating, I feel like there's a little bit more on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now people are looking at you like, you engaged again? You about to get married again? You dating again? Like, how this gonna work? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, even outside of, you know what I'm saying, the conversations and the outsiders and stuff like that, you are dealing with yourself as well, just kind of thinking like, yo, woo, I'm thinking about everything that kind of went wrong the last time. And, I don't want to do that. And, I don't really want to go back through a divorce, this, that, and the third. So, you kind of already, you just start moving differently. You know what I'm saying? Or at least that was my experience. So I wasn't quick to, like, even though we got engaged, we wasn't going to get married tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? There were still a few things that I wanted to kind of see, fill out, XYZ. And so fast forward, we kind of, we started just kind of going through our differences. And that's when I started realizing, like, I don't think this is my wife. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I had forgot that I had wrote down my list. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot that I had wrote down my list of what I really wanted. And I don't know about y'all, but I feel like a lot of us, we know we have standards and requirements and stuff like that. But because we haven't gotten the things that we felt like we want or needed, we start becoming flexible. You know what I'm saying? You start bending in areas that you don't have to bend, but because you there is somewhere in your mind where you kind of like, I'm probably not going to get what I want. You start bending. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. I started bending. And so me and the girl, we had decided to, like, just call it a quits. And I was really grateful for that, because even, to this day, like, we still friends and everything like that. So there is no love lost or whatever. But it was really important for me not to, like, you know what I'm saying? I really wanted to make sure that this time around it was going to work out. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that, you don't know what your next situation is going to be. You feel what I'm saying? But you at least want to put your best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? And so after that situation, I had waited a minute to start back dating, because I'm just like, I don't know, man. Let me just be low key. Let me not look. You know what I'm saying? And so when I started just focusing on myself, focusing on my goals, my dreams, just continuing to just, you know what I'm saying, elevate my situation, that's when God did something wild. And I'm talking about mind blowing. Do you hear me? So I meet this girl, and I wasn't looking for a girlfriend or anything. I wasn't looking to meet nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was not looking. And so literally, she had caught my attention because she had said something that was super interesting, and she caught my attention. And so my thing is, for me, like, if you know me, like, I don't really go for anything simple or basic. Like, you can't slide in my DM and be like, yo, what you doing? What's up? I think you fine. I want to holler at you. Yeah, no, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the way she moved was just it was very unique, very different. And I was like, okay, I see you. And so, we exchanged numbers and things like that. And when I tell you, over time, man, I started just kind of sitting back like, this feel familiar. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like I'd known this girl damn near all my life. Like, just very much equally yoked. You know what I'm saying? And I hadn't experienced that before. I had never talked to somebody that I felt like so equally yoked to. You feel what I'm saying? And so I remember sitting in my office one day, and me and her was on the phone. We was just chopping it up. We talk about so much, right? And that's the thing for me. I like to be stimulated, like, mentally. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and you don't get to experience that with a lot of people, because most people have only surface level conversations. You know what I'm saying? But part of that is because they only have a surface level relationship with theyself. You know what I'm saying? So they don't even know what it means to, like, be able to have a deeper conversation with people, because they don't have a deep relationship with theyself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and I started really recognizing this when I started taking a deep dive on God. Like, I started having intentional time with God. Like, I really just started, like, reading my Bible, just all of these different things. And it was just like, because I just wanted to experience God on a whole different level. And so it was like, by taking a deeper dive in Him, I started taking a deeper dive within myself. You know what I'm saying? Just figuring out, like, okay, dang, so this is who I am as a person, and this is what I like, and this, that, and the third. And so with this girl, do y'all know, somebody asked me earlier, did you get everything on your list? Yes. Yo, what? Yo, listen, When I say, if you allow God to blow your mind, he will do it. When I tell you, I was sitting up here and I mean like, and it wasn't like an overnight thing where you just realized, oh, she's everything on the list. No, it just happened over time. And I was just like, man, why does this just feel so familiar? You know what I'm saying? And so literally, I had forgot that I even wrote that prayer down. I forgot that I even wrote that list down. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, when I wrote it, it's literally just in, my prayer journal. So I have so many different journals that I write in and stuff. I don't look at all of them every day. And, sometimes I forget that I even wrote that entry. You know what I'm saying? And so I found myself cleaning up my office one day and I came across that journal and I opened it and I was like, dang, I forgot I had this. And one of the first pages in the journal is the list. And so I'm sitting there, I'm on the phone with her and I'm like, bruh, when I was just like, yo, this is very wild. And I had already told her, like, yo, I remember I wrote a list a while ago, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it says, whatever. And so she had asked me one day randomly. Now, mind you, I never told her anything that was on the list. Never told her. And so she had said, God asked me to ask you. No, God told me to ask you, am I everything on your list? And I was like, She was like, yeah, I was in the shower earlier and God said to ask you, am I everything on your list? And if I'm not, my instruction is to walk away from you. I said, for real? Now, here's the kicker. She didn't tell me that second part of that until I actually pulled out the list. You feel what I'm saying? Because I was just like, I thought that was so weird, so random. So I'm just like, okay, I got to find the list because I don't know. So I found the list, I opened it, and I'm just like, she's like, am I everything on your list? And I'm looking, and it's front and back. I'm looking, and I was like, damn, yeah. And she was like, whew, okay, And I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, because God told me if I wasn't everything on your list that I had to walk away from you. And I was just like, bruh, that is so wild to me. And so, you know what I'm saying? We just kind of had that moment and it was dope. And it was just like, you have to be careful about the things that you pray for, right? Because one, when God give it to you, are you in a position to have it or handle it? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. And so it's like when you are asking God about whatever it is that you want, you have to be specific in your prayers. You hear me? And you have to trust that God is going to do it. You know what I'm saying? When we talking about God doing his big one or just who God is in general, you don't have to settle for anything. You know what I'm saying? Now, it might take some time to get it. Mind you, I told you I wrote that list back in 2021. I met this girl at the tail end of 2023. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's like, it might not come right away. You feel what I'm saying? It might not, you've been and forgot about it. You know what I'm saying? But just because it's a blessing delayed does not mean that it's a blessing denied. You feel what I'm saying? Or just because it's a prayer delayed does not mean that it's a prayer denied. You hear me? So literally, I'm just like, I've literally been taking my time with this girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, even to this moment, we're not in a relationship and I've just been dating. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I was able to come across her because it's just like, for me, my background is like all of my relationships, like I've always had like long-term relationships. And so for me, it's always been like one relationship after the other. Never actually taken the time out to, you know what I'm saying, heal, figure, myself out, go on my, enjoy my single season, stuff like that. It was just literally back-to-back relationships. And so me slowing down and taking that time allowed me to date and even just make decisions. Like even when I was, even when I had got engaged again, and it was like me having to make that decision, but also just keeping it a buck with myself. And speaking of keeping it a buck with yourself, that's one of the things that we struggle with. We struggle with keeping it real with ourselves, man. And we be wanting other people to keep it real with us, but we can't even keep it real with ourselves. I could have easily been like, I don't think she a good fit for me, but I'll make it work. That's when you start settling and you don't have to. You feel what I'm saying? Like, You don't have to settle. God is literally going to do what he said he's going to do. But in order for him to do that, you have to trust him. You feel what I'm saying? You have to allow him to do what he said he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? And you got to learn the lessons along the journey. And that's why it's so important to, like, when you on your journey, don't rush the process. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we be just rushing to try to get to the destination, but we don't even realize that while we're rushing, we're missing processes. We're missing opportunities to learn lessons and have experiences, stuff that's going to hold us down. You know what I'm saying? When we get to the destination or when we get to the next season, you feel what I'm saying? Now we have to go back and do rework because we didn't learn, you know what I'm saying, the different lessons that we needed to learn during that time. So, man, it's like with me dating, and that's why, you know, it goes back to what I was saying originally. The dating pool is not trash. It's only trash because of who you decide to entertain. You feel what I'm saying? So many people are literally just out here. I'm tired of being single. I'm tired of being alone. So I'm just going to talk to anybody that want to talk to me. And it's just like, you know, for a fact, the person that you're probably talking to right now is not for you. And you know that. But because you don't want to wait, continue to wait, you rather sit here and waste your time. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just like, and you know when you supposed to stop messing with a person. You know what I'm saying? You know when a person is not a good fit for you, but you just continue to just, well, you know, it is what it is. Okay, and you going. My auntie told me, man, she was like, she know I'm stubborn, right? And she had said, and that's why you going to keep standing there talking to that same mountain. I said, man, that's a word by itself. Do you know what? I was just like, auntie, okay, now. Hold up. We got some comments. Hold on. Let me see what we got going on in the chat. Q, what's up? Hey, I like that. Look, Lilo, she said, I'm divorced, but I know what to look for next time. That's what it's about. Learning from your past. You feel what I'm saying? Learning from your past mistakes, or, you know what I'm saying, just your past in general, and applying whatever those lessons that you learn, applying them to current life, current day, and moving forward. You good. Q said, this is confirmation. I'm in the right place and to be patient on my journey. Nah, for real, Q. That's what's going to help you in the long run. Being patient. Because again, when you think, you know, I'm ready, I'm not. Hey, listen, God got a whole nother thing waiting on you. He got, like, his plans are greater than yours, but they'll never come to pass if you don't wait for him to make it happen. You understand what I'm saying? Want to wait because you wanted to experience the journey. Hey, yo, listen. I'm telling y'all, this entire life is a journey. You feel me? Life is a journey itself. And so that's why it's so important that when you are, you know what I'm saying, like just kind of going through life, man, take the time to experience life. You know what I'm saying? Learn the lessons along the way, but definitely apply them to your life. You feel what I'm saying? So that way you're not standing there talking to the same mountain. Because let me tell you something, you will be tested. You will be tested. I promise you, you're going to be tested. Oh, especially when it comes to relationships. When you have made a decision of like, oh no, I'm not going back to that person or that situation. Like, I don't like, you know, how that person was treating me. I don't like where this was going. You might mess around and meet a whole nother person that come with the same energy, same vibes. And then you got to make a decision. Did you learn your lesson last time dealing with so-and-so? Or are you finna do this? You finna take this ride again? You know, and that goes back to you being honest with yourself. I'm telling you, we do not be honest with ourselves. And that's why it's so important for me. Like, I got to be honest with myself, because then it allows me to be honest with my partner, or it allows me to be honest with my friends or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, being honest, it's just like one of those things for me. Like, I have to keep it a buck with you, because I have to keep it a buck with God. You understand what I'm saying? Speaking of keeping it a buck with God, God cannot heal what you won't reveal. God cannot bless who you pretend to be. Okay? And this is why I think it's so important to keep it a buck with yourself and just even people around you, whatever the case might be. Because it's like, for example, if you know you hurt, or you know you mad, or that situation really hurt you, whatever, speak on that. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit and try to kick it to the rest of the world like, oh, I'm good, everything's straight. But then when you get home and you alone or you behind closed doors, you really going through it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, man, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back. When God had asked Adam and and Eve, where are you? He wasn't asking them, hey, where you at? Because I can't see you. I can't find you. Where you at? He was asking them, where you at? Because he wanted them to know, that he wanted them to see where they were. You know what I'm saying? What they was doing, what was going on. So it's the same thing with us where it's just like, man, I'm hurt. Okay, cool. Now we getting somewhere. Yeah, man, that last situation really had me messed up. I ain't even gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? Like, start being raw, start being real, so that way you can begin to heal. You know what I'm saying? One of the last lives I did, somebody had asked me, they was like, yo, how do you heal? I said, you gotta start talking about it. But you know, a lot of us, we have so much shame wrapped in our story, so much trauma, you know what I'm saying, wrapped in our story that we don't even be wanting to talk about it with nobody because we be ashamed that we even went through it. You know what I'm saying? When I was married and, you know what I'm saying, I was going through, like when I started going through my divorce and stuff, and people was like, oh my God, y'all getting a divorce? Like, what? Y'all, what's going on? These people had no idea what I was going through in my marriage. You feel what I'm saying? These people had no idea what I was going through in my relationship with my ex-wife. But it's like when I started talking about it, that's when I actually started being able to heal from it. You know what I'm saying? And even to this day, like, me and my ex-wife, we are in a much better space. You know what I'm saying? We talk every now and again. There's no bad blood. Like, no, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But it was like when we went through our divorce and after our divorce, there was a period of time where we didn't talk for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Not because, oh, I'm just still madly in love with you, this, that, and the third. No. I was still healing. I was still processing. I was still going through the motions. Do you feel what I'm saying? Because it was just one of those things, like I ain't have nobody to talk to about it. And I was ashamed to even talk about it. I was ashamed to let that come out of my mouth. Yeah, she actually been cheating on me and this, that, and the third. Cause then people was gonna be, I was afraid of what people was gonna say and gonna think. Like, Nay, what? She cheating on you? Like, of all people, da da da. Like, I didn't want to deal with none of that. So I never spoke on it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I'm telling y'all, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, what your situation is, but just know, take that shame out of your story. You know what I'm saying? Start talking about whatever it is that you're experiencing, that you're going through, and start keeping it a buck with yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, when you start keeping it a buck with yourself, that's what's going to further your entire process. That's what's going to further your entire life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about keeping it a buck with yourself in every area of your life. For example, you working a job that you don't like. Speak on it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying complain about it, but really speak on it. Tell God how you feel. You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, write down your prayers and be specific and tell God what it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? And ask him to align your plans and your goals, align them to the ones according that he has for you. You feel what I'm saying? And sit back and trust that he gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I like to tell people to do is do the work while you wait. Yeah, like I remember I was telling my little brother, he was waiting on an opportunity and he's just like, man, like, I feel like I'm just sitting here. And it's like, well, don't just sit there. Do the work while you wait. You know what I'm saying? There are some other things that you could be working on. There's some other things that you could be learning while you're waiting. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, that's what's going to help you as well. Like, I'm telling y'all, man, when y'all start having these conversations with God and you being specific about your prayers, also ask him to grant you the wisdom to maintain, you hear me, to steward over all that he has provided and that he is going to provide. Because I'm telling you, when bruh start providing, you're going to be like, whoa, hold on, Lord. And that was me. The shorty that I was just telling you all about, God had provided in such a crazy way. And I remember writing a prayer down and I was like, Lord, I don't know who this girl is, but I know she's from you. Help me to not ruin this friendship with my, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing things, XYZ. And if you see it fit for us to get together, you are going to have to set it up. You feel what I'm saying? I literally wrote that down. You hear me? And that's why I said, like, I've been taking it slow. And that's why I said, like, even to this moment, me and this girl is not in a relationship, but she is a super dope individual. Like, it don't matter. And that's what I had, I had told her, and this is what we agreed on. It don't matter if we stay friends or, God see fit for us to have a relationship. I'm cool with either one. You know what I'm saying? But while I'm kind of just in a way waiting to see what God is going to do, I'm also doing the work while I wait. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I said, Lord, I don't want to mess this up with my old ways of thinking or my old ways of doing stuff. Like, I got to clean up some habits. And not saying that you got to be perfect when you walk into your situation. No. But again, remember I told y'all, there are some things that you need to work on during your single season that you don't need to be working on when you get in your relationship. You feel what I'm saying? So literally, that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm being obedient to what God has called me to do and told me to do. You know what I'm saying? But also, I'm sitting up here like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me work on this. Let me work on that. Because I know for a fact, whenever God give me the green light for whatever situation he decides for me to have, it's certain things that I don't want to still be working on. It's certain things that I don't want to carry into my next relationship. You feel what I'm saying? Because for y'all that don't know me for real, one of the things that I deal with is lust. And, you know, if y'all been listening to my other podcast or, you know, just catching some of my other lives, like, y'all know, like, there's no shame. There's no secret. I struggle with lust. You hear me? And so when I'm talking about lust in just terms of like, I had told Shorty, like, yeah, like, I like you and like, you a dope fit in this, that, and the third, but it's some other situations that's kind of surrounding that situation where I'm like, yo, I don't want to cheat on you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And these are real conversations that I have. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell y'all, be honest about where you are in your journey, because it's going to help that person as well. It's going to make that person realize, okay, dang, you know what? I appreciate you telling me where you at. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to keep working on the things that I need to work on my journey as well. And just that and the third, like, but there's literally no shame in, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I have going on. But literally, like, I feel like I'm in pruning season where God is like peeling back layers. Because I've already made it plain, like, Lord, hey, listen, I think this situation is dope, but I want to be obedient to whatever you tell me to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is going to be my next girl or this is just going to be my friend, but I'm not trying to mess it up by crossing or overstepping nothing that you ain't greenlit yet. You feel what I'm saying? And so shout out to my friend, man. She's super dope. Like, we don't be crossing like no boundaries. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Cause it's just like, listen, we done tried that already. We know how we felt. We know what happened. Like, no, thank you. I don't want to experience that again. So let me wait till God do it. You hear me? So that's my take on that situation. Hold up. We got a question. She says, do you think she is your test as far as the old you versus the new you? Oh, that's a good question. That is a really, really, really great question. She says, do you think she is your test as far as the old you versus the new you? That is such a great question. And you know what? To answer your question, I think yes. I think it is a test to first see if you're going to be honest about where you are in your journey. You know what I'm saying? The other part of that is because understand that it's always a decision. You feel what I'm saying? It's always going to be a decision. Even when you, like, it's a situation from right to wrong, it's a decision. You're going to have to decide, am I going to move this way or am I going to move this way? That's why I said I want to be obedient to what God wants me to do. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, even though she checks off all the boxes on my list, right? God still got a green light in terms of like, yo, you ready for this right now? You feel what I'm saying? Because for me, and again, I don't know where y'all are on y'all spiritual journey. I'm just telling you about mine. You hear me? I have seen situations where God will give me exactly what I want, what I prayed for. And then it's almost like, oh, but not yet. I just wanted you to kind of taste it a little bit just to kind of let you know, hey, I have this for you, but you are not where I need you to be yet in order to really enjoy or have this blessing. So I'm not going to give it to you yet, but just know that it's waiting for you. Like, I have literally been in those situations. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, that has been what's been going on in my world, man. Like, getting out here, deciding to date for the first time. And I know that that's crazy. Like, I'm in my 30s and I'm just now dating for the first time. And it's just like, again, you know, I've been going from relationship to relationship. You feel me? And so it's like, man, you know, finally make a decision. Yo, I'm gonna just date. That has been so refreshing because it's like, I see why some people think the dating pool is trash, but then I also see in my eyes why I say the dating pool is not trash. It's because I make a decision on like, who am I gonna give my energy to? You feel what I'm saying? Hold up. Let me see. She said, meaning it's more about you and your lessons than her. That's actually really, really good, Lilo. Like I love that. That's a good way to look at it. And you know what? That very well might be it. You know what I'm saying? Cause so for me, I think it's levels to everything that we do, right? And so I think it was one level to just kind of have that moment of like, yo, I'm gonna write down my prayers and I'm gonna do like I'm gonna wait for God to answer, right? Then it's a whole nother level of like, okay, boom, God provides exactly what you said you wanted. Right now, are you gonna wait for him to give you the green light, or are you just gonna go and indulge? Because my thing is, and this is just how I feel about situations in general. I feel like sometimes we find ourselves in relationships with people that we never should have had a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? That person probably should have easily just stayed our friend or whatever the case might be. But because most of us, when we meet people, the first thing we want to do is like we start flirting with them. We start trying to get to know them on that level. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, just because we friends, or you know what I'm saying, just because, you know what I'm saying, I know you, you know me, that don't necessarily mean that we need to date. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said God has to do it. You feel what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, he didn't already put it in motion in terms of like, okay, here's this person. And I'm like, okay, cool. But Lord, you sent her at such an interesting time. Like, you know, I got some other stuff going on, XYZ. And it's that thing of like, yo, are you going to wait on me? Are you going to trust me? And I'm like, well, shoot, you've been blowing my mind all of this time. So it's, yeah, like he got to say, yeah, this the next move right here. And it's like, and until he say that, I'm just sitting doing work. I'm looking at the situation where it's like, I've been doing the work and I'm still working on some things. You feel what I'm saying? I'm still working through some things. And so for me, remember, because I said that I had told God, I had wrote down in my prayer, Lord, help me to not ruin this with my old ways of thinking, my old ways of handling things. You feel what I'm saying? So because I know that, and remember, I just said, like, I struggle with lust. You feel what I'm saying? And not like, for example, when it comes to like, I told like, oh, I might cheat on you. I only told her that because it's like, I know for me, like if me and her were to get into a relationship, it would be a long distance relationship. And so if I can keep it a buck with myself, I know I'm an in-person type person. You feel what I'm saying? And so the long distance thing wouldn't really work for me, especially with me being like more of a spirit of the moment type person. Like I'm liable to call you, hey, you know, I want to go out. Da, 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 da. You feel what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, okay, Lord, help get this lust out of me so that way I don't ruin. If this is going to be my next girlfriend, right? If this is going to be my next situation, help me to not ruin that with this. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying like God literally has to tell me, yo, green light. You hear me? Because I feel like I know right now, because I know what my struggles are, and I'm up front with her about my struggles. And that's why I say like being honest is so dope, because it's just like it just puts you in a better situation, because it's just like, dang, in a moment where you could have lied to me, in a moment where you could have took advantage of me, in a moment where you could have really just, you know what I'm saying, played with me, played in my face, you decided to be honest. You hear me? That's setting the situation up for a bigger play, because it's like, yo, now I can trust you. I can actually trust you, because if we thinking about it, whether it's long distance or not, at the end of the day, we got to have that trust in there. You hear me? If I do not trust you or cannot trust you, we might as well not even be talking, because it's an easy no for me. If I cannot trust you, y'all go ahead, wrap it up right now. You hear me? So that's why it's so important for me to be like, yo, God really got to do it. And I'm patient enough to wait on God, because again, God has already blown my mind in so many different areas of my life. If he's done it before, and he's the same God as yesterday, the day before, centuries ago, XYZ, that means he gonna do it again. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta allow him to do it. So I'm just like, yeah, I could be patient. I could be patient and wait on my next relationship, whether it's with her or somebody else. I could be patient, because all it's going to do for me is set me up for a bigger win. You hear me? Set me up for a bigger play. And I must be sitting back later on like, dang, that's why he had me wait. I like, okay, you had me doing some other stuff, That's why you had me waiting. Like, okay, bet. That's where I'm at with it, man. But I say all of that to say the dating pool is not trash. It's just about what you giving your time and your energy to. Take some time to write down what you want in your next relationship, your next person, your next marriage, wherever you at on your journey. Take some time, man. Spend some time with yourself and actually sit and figure out what it is that you want. Because I guarantee you right now, if you ask most people what they want, some of them can't even tell you what they want because they haven't taken the time to sit and think about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? While you have the time, sit and think about the things that you want and pray about it and allow God to do it because he is going to do it. That's my time, y'all. This has been another episode of Elevation Talks. You hear me? I appreciate y'all stopping through. Y'all can catch my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, anywhere where you can get podcasts. Go check it out. It's called Elevation Talks with Nate Liggins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share the content. Run it up per usual. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, until the next time, y'all. Hey, let me know what y'all want my next topic to be too. Like I always like to include, you know what I'm saying, the audience and just kind of see what people going through and you know what I'm saying, what you want it to be. So yeah, if you got maybe a topic or something that you want me to kind of speak on or a suggestion, whatever, feel free. Hit me in my DM. Just to keep it a buck with you, I may or may not respond just because it be some wild things that be trying to happen in the DM. And I do not be opening them junks. So just know, you hear me? But if you really want to get in contact with me, hit me elevationtalks@gmail.com. Again, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cayman Jack. If y'all, make sure y'all drink responsibly. They got different flavors that you can try. This is the margarita mix. But yeah, until next time, y'all, set it up and run it up per usual. And do whatever you need to do to go off. You hear me? I'm gone, man.